Hi everybody, welcome to Train Sim World 2. Today we are driving from Elephant and Castle to Stonebridge Park. Now this is also a review of the game after about 20 hours of gameplay, and as you would have seen from my previous videos, it's focused on the Bakerloo Line. So first off, we can talk about the gameplay, compare it to Train Sim World 1, or 2020 as it's called. I would actually say this game is far better, and the controls are more efficient when it comes to the doors, except for when you're playing the preserved collection and it still retains the old controls from the previous game. Graphically, this game I would say is about the same as Train Sim World 1, which, well, at the moment you can't really tell because it's pitch black as we're going through the tunnels, but on other routes I would actually say the graphics are just the same as the first game, really. And I think the most controversial part of this entire game is the HUD, which you can clearly see at the moment. You've got the speed at the bottom right corner, you've got what's coming up on the top right, your score on the top right, and then on the left you've got your next station and schedule time. Originally it is hard to get used to because it's a different format, but I took advantage of the Train Sim live streams, which started up about 2 weeks before the game's release, and I used that to get used to the new HUD layout, which upon my first journey on this game it wasn't a problem to me. But it's nice to see, like in the bottom right hand corner you can see where the doors are, and when I play with a controller, and it's just left on the D-pad or right on the D-pad depending on which side the station is. But it's a lot more efficient than holding it down and then selecting up and clicking to select which door you want, and it's just so much more efficient. So we're going to be approaching our first station very shortly, and you'll see on the bottom right hand side the HUD, the doors opening. So we're just coming up into our station now, and I find it's best to approach a station at about 30 miles an hour and then brake just before you hit the red on the grid on the track. So one day I'll try it without that coloured grid. See if I can pull off a stop like that or not. So there I just hit the right hand side on the D-pad and it opens up the door, and you can see it indicated on the HUD at the bottom right hand corner. And hopefully they will improve that NPC. It's because they spawn away from the platform because it might look ugly, but they all arrive just as you're leaving, so they need to work on that a little better. But other than that, looking at the stations, because I have been a frequent user of the London Underground before the lockdown, and the stations do look very good, but the textures in some stations is a little bit... that's my mouse falling. The textures look a bit crooked and they don't look very straight, but hopefully they will fix that in the future. As for the tunnels, well, I can't exactly say because I haven't been in the cab firsthand, but you get what you get, really. And I did look at the reviews on Steam beforehand, and some people said the lights aren't good enough to see inside the tunnel, but that's because the lights in the tunnels aren't for you, it's for people in the platforms to see you coming. The only thing you get to see is the light of the tunnel. And with the controls again, you have to learn when to brake on the first stage, and then when to brake on the second stage. So usually I hit the first brake as I come in at 30 miles an hour, if the speed limit allows for that, and as I'm approaching the green tiles, I'll hit brake number 2, so it should pull into a nice, calm, easy stop. But as you'll see further down the video, I sort of messed this up and come in a bit too fast, and the front of the train pokes into the other side of the tunnel, but we all do that. As for the sounds in this game, again, I don't really know what it would sound like from a cab, but I would assume it would be very similar to what you hear in the saloon. The Bakerloo Line is incredibly noisy, so I think they've got that correct, and there's been... some people haven't liked the sound of the train, because it sounds like it might have come from something else on Train Simulator or something like that. But personally, I don't mind it, to be honest. It sounds like the train, so why not? And I'd say one of the other big changes is the, as you can see as I'm pulling in, you can see the circle with the countdown of the time and the distance of the where you have to stop. It's much better to what you got in Train Sim World 1, where it would also have the speed there and it would all stack up and it's hard to see the signal, so they've improved it better with this and implemented it on the upper right hand side where you can see the 2 or 3 yards till the area you have to stop and the upcoming speed, instead of having all these bubbles stacked up in front of you on the track. Because I've found in East Coast Way on the original Train Sim World, I'd get caught out in several spots because you can't see the change in speed so much, because you've got all these bubbles in front of it and you break the speed limit or even spad in a few occasions. So yeah, overall I would say this game is very good. It has its bugs, as you would expect, which I hope they will clean up. NPCs, I think, is a big problem, which you would have seen in a previous video of a train load basically had fallen onto the track, and then the next train comes in and just goes straight through them. That'd be a huge case of one-unders. Some of the platforms are a bit crooked when it comes to the textures, mostly on the platform itself, not like around the walls and anything like that. I think there should be also more frequent trains, because I've noticed when I've been playing this that I'd hit the map so you can see the entire route, and you can also see where every single train is. They'd be mostly on one side of the track, maybe 1 or 2 on the other side, so you're waiting possibly 25 minutes, which is incredibly unrealistic. And in the real world you would expect a train every 2 to 5 minutes, so hopefully they can make that more realistic in the future. So yeah, I'd recommend this game. If you're still debating it, I fully recommend it, and you got new routes coming in the roadmap, including the Isle of Wight, which is in Train Simulator, and you've also got the Faversham St Pancras line, which is coming soon, which is also in Train Simulator, but with the current world global crisis, they're having to reuse resources they've already got instead of being able to freely go out and make a new line. And one thing to add, with the Isle of Wight route, which uses the 1938 tube stock, I hope that they do come to the Bakerloo line as well in their original red livery and sort of green, brown wooden interior. Maybe even bring in some more stock of the underground. So this has been a predominantly Bakerloo Line based review, which I would say is the most popular route of the three. I haven't even played the American Sand Patch route, I think it's called. And I've had a few goes at the German route. And it just doesn't appeal to me, to be honest. I mostly bought this for the Bakerloo Line, and that's what I've been playing the most. But I do look forward to the future releases. See what the 395 would be like on here with the St Pancras line. So that's been my review of the game. If you want me to voice in future videos, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, your support is greatly appreciated. And I will see you in the next one. Stay safe.